Are we sticking with a bit of before?
Starting this evening for Mount Royal University Cougars, number 2, Megan Jones. Number 3, Maya Morgan. Number 8, Lexi Herod. Number 10, Sydney Strasher. Number 13, Emma Boyd. Number 15, Bronwyn Davies Nira. Libero number 1, Paige Davidson. Head coach, Rhonda Schulman.
Quick rundown of the starters for Mount Royal. Starting on the outside out of Coquitlam, BC, number 2, Megan Jones. Number 3 in the middle, a Winnipeg local, Maya Morgan. Another Winnipeg local, their starting setter, number 8, Lexi Herod. Out of Komoka, Ontario on the outside, number 10, Sydney Scatcherd. In the middle, all the way from Whitehorse, we have the middle, number 13, Emma Boyd. From Newcastle, Ontario on the outside, number 15, Bronwyn Davies Nira. And finally, their other outside, I believe, in the libero jersey tonight, also to Winnipeg, number 16, Fiona Brown.
These two teams did not square off against one another this regular season. So this is their first matchup against one another, and it comes in the Canada West quarterfinal series. Now this is night number 1 of a best-of-3 playoff series coming up between these two powerhouses, and they are very familiar with one another despite not squaring off in the regular season of the 24-25 conference year. Now, we'll get into that a little bit more as this match and the storylines progress, but these two teams, again, very familiar in the Canada West playoffs and the U Sports National Championship playoffs as well. So, a lot of familiarity, a lot of game planning went on as both of these teams did not play their final week of the conference season. They both were blessed with a bye to prepare for this matchup. So we will dive into all those storylines as this match progresses and as Manitoba announces their starting lineup for night number 1.
Before we get to Manitoba, my apologies, one quick miss on the lineup for Mount Royal. We also have number 1, Paige Davidson, out of Campbell River, BC, also in the libero jersey. So tandem liberos tonight for Mount Royal. Now, starting for Manitoba, their captain on the outside from Winnipeg, number 9, Laidu Chechikwu. Their setter, also a Winnipeg local, number 12, Katrina Bentley. Yet another Winnipeg local, number 13, Andy Almonte, starting on the outside. In the middle, a real show of Winnipeg here, number 23, Eve Katojo, also out of Winnipeg. Number 25, Rhea Surings on the outside. And their final middle, out of Winnipeg, number 27, Brenna Badowski, and of course, their libero, number 14, out of Winnipeg, Julia Arnold. And all Winnipeg representing lineup for Manitoba tonight.
15 players announced in the starting lineup, 8 from MRU, 7 from Manitoba, and we have 10 of those 18, over half, representing the province of Manitoba alone. What a remarkable testament that is to the talent that this province breeds in women's volleyball. Not only are they talented and bringing on incredibly skilled players, it's going to be the host city of the 24-25 U Sports Women's Volleyball National Championships here at Investors Group Athletics Center the weekend of March 14th and 16th, which will be broadcasted here on CBC for all of you to enjoy. That will be the cream of the crop for women's volleyball in the nation. Such an exciting opportunity for this volleyball-riddled community to express their love and support of such a fantastic sport, and we are thrilled that we will be involved in the broadcast there as well. Such an exciting time to be a volleyball fan here in Winnipeg. But first and foremost, we've got playoffs to take care of in the conference world. That's going to be Mount Royal. They're going to have the first ball to receive from Manitoba. It's going to be their setter, Katrina Bentley, in her 4th year, her graduating year for the Manitoba Bisons. Starting things off here again on night number 1 of this best of 3 quarterfinal series between the Cougars and the Bisons.
Serve is good, pass up, Herod flicking it back. Scatcherd sends it out of bounds on the first attack.
Maybe a little bit of nerves there to start as Scatcherd, she's in there very early on her approach. We could see her at the net waiting for that set from Herod. Just some timing issues, perhaps a few of the jitters still working out. It is playoffs after all.
In the middle, Morgan, she'll pick up the first kill for Mount Royal.
That's a good response from the Winnipeg connection on the Mount Royal side of the court as Herod distributes to Morgan. Great speed by Morgan as we see there. Manitoba's block non-existent as that ball just cut off too quickly by Maya Morgan.
Scatcherd now back to serve. Pass up by Arnold. Going outside to Suring. She's cutting across court, recycled off the block. Now in the middle, Ika Jojo picks up her first kill of the night.
Manitoba is so poised in transition, Amber. Watch, this block is just covered perfectly by Andy Almonte and puts the ball in the setter's pocket, allowing the Bisons to run middle in transition. Such an effective run at any level of volleyball.
Katojo now to serve. Pass up by Davidson. Going back, pop down the line by Davies Nira. Suring's cutting it inside. Solid tandem block. That was all Maya Morgan and Bronwyn Davies Nira.
Now you took the time to talk to Coach Schmuland in her first season with the Mount Royal Cougars before this match, Amber, and she noted that being aware of where Rhea Surink's on the floor for Manitoba at all times is going to be a key for them. Clearly, they have her number early as they are all over that block, picking up their second point.
Free ball sent over by Mount Royal. Outside now to Surings. Once again recycled off the block. Surings with another chance. That time flips the switch, down the line she goes.
You can be aware of where she is, but that doesn't mean you're guaranteed to stop her, Amber. This is 2 years ago, the U Sports Rookie of the Year, and just last year, the U Sports Player of the Year. That is an unprecedented run for the young Rhea Surings, and we see her execution right there as to why she is such a well-decorated athlete in just her 3rd season.
Pass up by Arnold. Backer attack from Uchechuk, who takes some speed off of it. Smart choice from the captain. And she has to stutter step her approach a little bit. Smart for her to not go, full out in that attack. She'll now have back to serve. Pass up by Scatcherd. Looking in the middle and connecting with Boyd. She picks up her first kill of the night.
Emma Boyd, one of a number of athletes from both of these teams, member of the next gen team for Team Canada's sort of pipeline of athletes. We see why there, as her physical stature and speed for that kill were on point.
Suring swinging on the right side that time. Started with a perfect pass from Uchechukwu. Bentley was spoiled for choice.
Speaking of next-gen athletes, Rhea Surings, Emma Boyd's fellow teammate this past summer on that roster.
Surings now at the service line. Pass from Scatcherd puts Herod on the run. Outside attack from Jones. That's her first of the night.
One of the toughest attacks to dig if you're a defender here is just this kind of knuckleball float serve off the hands of Megan Jones. Just no true topspin, which makes that ball just dance as it approaches the defender. Good change-up by Jones.
She'll now serve. Pass up from Almonte. A give and go here. She'll get a chance to swing. She answers beautifully. Another deep swing to the corner, just like that, Adam.
That's it, pretty much identical. A little more topspin on that ball, but as you said, Amber, perfectly placed deep into the court.
Brenna Badowski now back to serve. Pass up by Davidson. Back to Boyd, off the block. Beautiful coverage by Davies Nira. Now a ball handling error. There's a little bit too much spin on the release from Herod.
Okay, we can see some nods of approval of that call from both Herod and Coach Schmulin. They agree that this is playoff time. Things tighten up around here, and you got to be perfect. Head official Kevin Newton making sure that the rules are followed. Perfect
pass going out to Scatcherd, off the block, out of bounds. Captain picking up the kill.
Great swing there from Scatcherd. That's a matchup that the Cougars will continue to go to as this night goes on, is when Katrina Bentley, the setter for Manitoba, is in the front row. They are going to try and set over top of her as much as they can, and that was a good example of utilizing that matchup. It's followed up immediately with a service ace from Emma Boyd. That one goes off the platform of Laidu Chechakwu. That's a little captain serve from Emma Boyd there.
It's another tough serve. I was looking into the stats ahead of tonight's match, and Emma Boyd and Rhea Surings are the only two on the floor tonight that finish in that top 5 leader for aces per set across Canada West in regular season. And you can see why. They have very different serves. Emma Boyd with a really tough float because that just skips over the net. And Rhea Surings obviously with her top spin. Tough ball there. It's tipped deep out to Sydney Scatcherd. Looking deep down the line, but no call at the net on the block. Just out of bounds it'll be.
Great run for Mount Royal there as they bridge that gap. This Manitoba lead trimmed to just 1 now. It's going to be Almonte with the ball in her hand to serve.
Skips over the net, passed up by Jones. Back row attack, Davies Nira. What a dig from Almonte. Good opportunity here for Mount Royal, and nice read from the Bison blockers. But it'll be Maya Morgan who gets the last laugh. What poise at the net from Mount Royal.
That's a phenomenal angle. Watch Maya Morgan here. She had to work so hard to get off the net after that quick block recycle by the Cougars side. She's able to get there and get a kill. However, it does appear that the down official has made a net violation call on the setter, Lexi Herod. It appeared that she had stepped over the center line to make that middle set. So great play by the Cougars is kind of negated by that line violation. It's no matter as the Manitoba serve follows up just a little bit long. And we're going to end up right where we were just 2 points ago. Manitoba leading by 1.
Lexi Herod at the service line. Pass up from Almonte out to Uchechukwu. Off-speed shot dug up nicely by Davidson. Scatcherd. She has such an unconventional arm swing. Seems almost slow motion and then a whip at the last second.
Yeah, we'll get a nice look here, and she really draws that elbow back, Amber. That is sort of exactly how you would want to coach a young athlete, is getting that elbow up and back, locked and loaded for an ideal angle for them to come and attack that ball. And we're going to see a lot more of Scatcherd as this night goes on, and with those mechanics, she's built for this game.
Bentley now to serve. Tough pass, but handled nicely by Herod. Free ball sent over by Mount Royal. Back to Uchechukwu. Good coverage off the block. Surings now. Cross-court shot catches the Mount Royal defense. Surings for the kill.
That play right there is an example as why Manitoba has been so dominant in this conference for years, and it's their ability to score in trouble situations. We see Surings, a broken play set from sideline to sideline. She doesn't back down. She gets up there and rips that ball across court for a kill.
Back to Uchechukwu, slides that one down inside the Mount Royal block, just right between the net. You can't pick up that ball. That's a tough one. Smart choice by the Bison's captain. Pass up from Scatcherd. Bentley with the dig. Uchechukwu now. What an angle off the hand of Light Uchechukwu.
Uchechukwu, despite being the Manitoba captain, has floated in and out of the starting lineup this season. Tonight she's in place of Ella Gray, and that is a testament to the depth of these Manitoba Bisons and the skill and power they have all the way down their bench. Whoever steps into that role is capable of scoring in a variety of ways, and that time, as you said, Amber, she goes with a heavy-handed cross-court kill. And Coach Schmuland, in her first year with Mount Royal, she's seen enough so far as this Manitoba lead has extended to 4. She elects to take her first time out of the set.
You alluded to it earlier in the set, but we do have several All-Stars on the floor tonight. First, the first team All-Stars. We have a couple of Bisons. We have Rhea Surings as well as Katrina Bentley, the setter. So congratulations. Another nice thing I'd like to point out is we have 3 out of 7 hailing from Winnipeg on the first team All-Stars.
Yeah, Justine Colody for the Alberta Pandas. Also reigning out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. But we've got Lauren Attia. She's been a household name in the Canada West Conference for seasons, along with Akash Gruwal and Taryn Hanna. But this is the second team we've moved on to now. Julia Arnold, a Manitoba Bison, also making an appearance there.
Of course, as well as Emma Boyd from Mount Royal getting All-Star nods. Bentley to serve here. Pass up from Davidson. Going outside, Davies near. Good slowdown by the Bison's block, but it takes Bentley out of the equation. Doesn't matter, however, Surings cuts inside, but reverts down the line.
She continues to score with this high line shot, and it's puzzling this Mount Royal defense as we see Scatcherd turns with a bit of look of confusion on her face there, but that's just great vision from the first team All-Star, Rhea Surings.
Pass up from Jones, looking in the middle to Morgan. She'll find the open court.
She's had an incredibly efficient game to start so far, Amber, as I believe that's already her 3rd kill in just 10 points for Mount Royal. It's a great start for her.
Sydney Scatcherd now back to serve for Mount Royal. Pass up from Arnold outside Surings. Nice slowdown by the Mount Royal block. And a bit of a missed connection tipped over by Morgan. Now back to Uchechukwu. And that just gets caught in the blocker's hands. It'll be a kill for number 9.
Katrina Bentley, for the 5th time in 4 seasons starting, has led this conference in assists per set, and we see her talent on display, but she also has the weapons to do it. The privilege she has to play with such weapons on the pins, we see she can go left or right and have an opportunity to score just about every time.
Davies near pops it deep. Tricky dig into the net on the Bison side. That'll be a kill for number 15.
Good response there from the Cougars, as just a little bit too much pressure there applied, and it's going to be important for Bronwyn Davies-Nira to be a threat for the Cougars tonight and have that matching sort of left and right side power that the Manitoba Bisons offer.
Good coverage off the Bisons block. Back to Uchechukwu, dipping deep into the pot, and that'll go right into the hands of Brenna Bajowski. Should make him pay for it.
You know, we were talking and commenting on the first team All-Stars for Manitoba, but their pair of middles between Brenna Badowski and Eve Katojo, they hovered around the top 5 in the conference in kills or efficiency and blocks per set all season long. And with this talented roster, there could be just such a plethora of individuals that could be named to those teams. We're seeing the display of talent there.
There's an attack error from Mount Royal. That off the hand of Megan Jones.
It's an unfortunate error, but I think a lot of volleyball athletes can relate to a play like that, where you just start salivating with that opportunity in front of you. You see no block. You want to put that point on the board in a big way, and maybe just getting ahead of herself a little bit too much.
We'll call that a bump kill for Megan Jones as she answers that error with the score point for her squad.
Just a bit of hesitation and kind of misdirection there from Lexi Herod, earning that point for Manitoba. And it appears that perhaps a contact lens has popped out. I feel like this is very cliche of us and of the Bison players to have to kind of attend to this, but nonetheless, it is a reality, and it's going to be Andy Almonte subbing out momentarily as number 10, Chelsea Sabanga, checks in relief, as we see Almonte taken off quickly to the team room to get herself tidied back up.
Got to be able to see, so contact lenses, pretty important. Tough ball for Manitoba, popped over as they recover. Good opportunity here for Mount Royal. Megan Jones with a heavy hand, chased down by Uchechukwu. Free ball sent over by the Bisons. But Emma Boyd will have the last laugh as she'll take advantage of Chelsea Sabanga having to run all the way back after chasing down that ball, getting herself settled. It'll be Brenna Badowski a little bit late on the block as well. Bronwyn Davies-Nira. Pass goes up and over. Herod. Ooh, Lexi Herod called on some contact at the net on the swing from Brenna Badowski. Hard to tell from our angle. Regardless, point will stay with Manitoba. Rhea Surings with the ball in hand. Pass up by Davidson. Going back to Davies-Nira, tipped over. Handled by Sabanga. Surings out of the C-ball run. Cougars unable to chase it down, but good effort.
That's just the physicality that Manitoba presents. Whether it's front row or back row, they're able to put a point on the board and just overwhelm that defense of Mount Royal. Good start for the Bisons offensively, as their hitting efficiency is sky high out there, hitting at 500.
Nice pass by Davidson out to Jones. And she'll power through that Bison's block.
Good response there, and it all started with that pass, putting Lexi Herod in the pocket and spreading this Manitoba block. As we see there, Badowski just reaching late to close that seam, and Megan Jones identifies that well. Makes her pay.
Jones now to serve. Don't find the net. That brings Badowski back to serve for U of M. Nice pass from Jones outside Scatcherd. Looking down the line, but out of bounds it goes.
You know, if you're Coach Schmulin, you have to like the way that Mount Royal is playing right now. They're executing the game plan. Passes are solid. They're running the lanes that they want to run over top of Katrina Bentley in that situation. Just a few too many unforced errors, just not allowing themselves to build any sort of flow on their side.
Scatcherd a chance at redemption. Off the block, Herod just happened to be in the right spot, I think, as she was running into cover, but it ends up in their favor. Let's get another look. She just pops up her arm, and Boyd takes care of business. Boyd now to serve. This is the one with the dangerous float. And an ace right off the hop.
Dangerous it is, Amber. The trajectory of this serve is so flat. It's almost coming at a downward angle to the serve receivers. That is so challenging as your reaction time is limited and the angle is just such a different beast to battle.
That's a better pass by Uchechukwu, tipped over by Katojo. Back now to Davies Nira, and she gets a bit of an assist off the net tape.
Yeah, this is one that Manitoba needs to break from a serving perspective, and that's a great pass off the platform of Light Uchechukwu as Coach Ken Bentley, in his 39th season with these Manitoba Bisons, elects to take his first time out. We'll try and slow things down a little bit here as this set continues, but these Mount Royal Cougars, they are staying aggressive and chipping away at the lead of Manitoba. And you have to appreciate the resiliency that they're approaching this set with. It did look a little dicey at times with, I think, their deficit growing to 8 points at one time. But they have battled hard, and they're very conscious that it takes 3 sets to win this match. And despite trailing in the first and this one maybe looking out of reach at times, the response has been there, and they continue to play the right way and approach this set with the right mentality, and that's going to pay off for them in the long term if they can stick with it and continue to execute. And with the ball in Emma Boyd's hand, anything is possible as she's going to continue to apply some serious pressure to the Manitoba serve receivers.
Another tough serve handled by Sabanga. It'll be a net violation on the Bisons regardless, so point Mount Royal. Not sure if that'll count as an ace on the stat sheet or not. And it will. 4 aces. Handled pretty well by Uchechukwu, and a block to follow it up.
That's game planning at its best there, Amber. Perfect pass from Manitoba's perspective, but look at Maya Morgan anticipating that in a time of struggle, Manitoba is going to go to their #1 attack option in Rhea Surinks, and she was all over that with her blocking footwork to the right side. 4 big hands in her way. Great execution to continue this run for the Cougars.
Pass up from Uchechukwu outside. Almonte back on the floor and making a difference immediately. She was subbed in just before that served after getting fresh contact lenses. Looks like she has some pretty good vision now.
Yeah, and great vision from the setter, Katrina Bentley, just taking off of 1 foot there, kind of like a flamingo, distributing that ball to the left side perfectly and just keeping things simple when times are sort of struggling for Manitoba, unable to side out, but they get out of that rotation.
Scatcherd with a delicate tip, finding a way to score.
That's a perfectly timed touch of the ball by Scatcherd. Watch here as Eve Katojo is waiting for her out there, but just swimming at the net, trying to make contact with the ball. Chef's kiss there, Scatcherd.
Herod now to serve. Nice pass by Almonte in the middle. Katojo swinging deep out to Scatcherd. Picked up by Arnold. Uchechukwu on the attack now, looking down the line. That's a good placement from Uchechukwu.
She is way up on this left side attack here, Amber. Watch her contact point, full extension, and just over top of that Mount Royal block. Fantastic athleticism on display from the 5th year out of Manitoba. She has 5 kills and no errors on just 8 attempts.
Pass up from Scatcherd. Back row attack from Jones. Arnold picks it up. Surinks now. And that goes inside the block of Mount Royal. Just a little bit too much wiggle room.
It's a good read. Maya Morgan working hard, but we see the left hand there of Scatcherd just not penetrating the net and leaving a little bit of that gap. And with a player as good as Rhea Surinks, you got to be perfect in those moments.
Scatcherd helping out. Pretty tight to the net. Doesn't matter. It fools the Bison's block and just drops on the other side of the net.
Good athleticism here by Davies Nira as That's a tough set. It's so close to the net. You have to be in control of your body, but she gets her feet to the spot and jumps upright rather than drifting as you typically would as an outside attacker. Just good heads-up body control by the outside.
One-handed set from Bentley. And a good recovery from Mount Royal. Let's see what Manitoba does with the free ball. And they will close out set 1.
With authority, they're going to do it, as it is once again Uchechukwu with a kill, this time down the line on the right side. She was untouchable in that first set, and we see why she gets the nod here in Canada West playoff action as the starter. 6 kills in that first set alone. Remarkable tally from the 5th year out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. These two teams are going to switch sides as we wait during the set break for what will certainly be an entertaining set number 2. Don't go anywhere. Stick with us here on CBC.
It's that moment again, the one you dream of every night. The only thing at the front of your mind is glory. The journey of success, of pushing yourself further than ever before. But the true glory is in the shadows, the sacrifices you make, when all the odds are stacked against you, when you can't push one more second. Chase the glory.
Our story begins on the plains.
A bison stands, unyielding to the gusting winds.
It steps forward to join the herd.
Together, they move with purpose,
driving relentlessly ahead.
At the University of Manitoba, these traits have defined us since 1877.
Nestled on Treaty 1 and Treaty 5 territories and on the national homeland of the Red River Métis,
UM is forever entwined with Manitoba.
Our steps have shaped its terrain.
All right, teams back on the floor, ready to get underway with set number 2. Lexi Herod will be the one to kick it off. Pass up by Surings. Back to Uchechukwu. Deep swing, looks like there's no contact at the net. Out of bounds it goes, point Mount Royal.
Like Uchechukwu reminding us first thing in this second set that she's human, making her first mistake of the match after hitting 67% efficiency through the first set. Coming back down to earth to start number 2.
Oh, it's a Surings. Off the Mount Royal block. She picks up her first kill of set 2.
Good slowdown by the Mount Royal block, as the Cougars defense is going to want this one back. There's not a lot of opportunity to get such a high, juicy block touch on Rhea Surings, allowing them to transition, but maybe just falling asleep on the assignment there from the offside blocker.
Katojo now to serve. Pass up by Davidson. In the middle, recycled off the block. Pretty tight to the net here for Davies Nira. Just a little bit of miscommunication perhaps on the Bison's defense this time.
Now, this Manitoba defensive scheme is a little bit unconventional in the way that they bring their position 1 defender inside the attack line and sort of shuffle around and rotate the other defenders. So that spot right there on the floor is a bit of a dead zone. Good attack from the right side, Davies Nira.
And an ace to follow it up from Mount Royal.
That is 5 service aces already in this match for the Mount Royal Cougars collectively as a team. Manitoba had 0 in set number 1. So we're seeing some serious contrast in serving approaches here.
Bit of an assist from the net on that serve. Out to Suring, so she has to lean back. Dig goes up and over. Now Badowski with a delicate touch. She'll pick up a kill.
Manitoba attacked at 47% efficiency through the first set as a team, which is an incredibly high number, meaning that they're scoring almost 1 in every 2 attacks that they have as a team. With a lot of physicality, with a lot of success. This change of pace that the Bisons have thrown the Cougars' way to start the second set with these tips and rolls has definitely been a problem to start the set for the Cougars' defense.
Jones cutting inside, and it goes to no man's land. Smart shot by number 2, Megan Jones. Maya Morgan now back to serve. Pass up by Arnold is right on the dot. Suring swinging deep. Scatcherd gets a touch on it, but to no avail. Kill for number 25. Big serve from Suring. Pass goes up, over, and out. She'll pick up an ace.
Not the most confident lead by the Manitoba Bisons, as both Katrina Bentley and Rhea Suring share a bit of a laugh here as that ball narrowly missed the sideline.
Yeah, did not miss by much. That one also did not miss by much, but it is out, point Mount Royal.
Mount Royal starting off with a lead here in the second set, 5-4. Despite it being a lead, it is narrow.
Good serve by Davies Nira, but handled well by Almonte. Suring cuts inside. The block drops on the attack line.
Tough approach and set there from Katrina Bentley. Watch as Rhea Suring had to come inside so heavily to try and get her right arm to that ball. That's one of the challenges that presents itself as being a right-handed right side. As if that ball doesn't get all the way across your body, you've got to do some real adjusting in the air to make it happen.
Good coverage by Davies Nira. Boyd on the attack, scooped up by Uchechukwu. Almonte now, cutting sharp cross court. Jones off-speed shot. Almonte another chance, that time beating the block, ripping down the line. Almonte with the kill.
Lexi Herod probably put on about 500 meters here in this rally alone, and right there she just gets caught trying to reset as fast as she can at the net as a blocker, but there just wasn't enough time as the recognition and volleyball IQ of Katrina Bentley to identify her out of place and run that tempo set to the left side. That's just quality quarterbacking by Bentley.
Nice deep swing from Katojo. She definitely did not get to her full arm extension, but still put a decent amount of pace on it. Badowski now to serve. Pass up from Davidson. Back row attack, Scatcherd. An attack error from number 10.
Bison's defense not paying any respect to that back row pipe option of the Cougars, as we saw all 3 front row blockers peel off of the net against that run. Can't imagine Sydney Scatcherd makes that mistake again, as just nobody home for her. A lot of court to work with.
Nice slowdown there by the Bisons block off of Boyd's middle attempt. Recycling it into a kill. That'll do. Rhea Surings, number 8 on the night.
Just textbook broken play volleyball from Manitoba as this middle. Brenna Badowski steps in for that second contact, makes a quality set to that C-ball, and we know what the reigning player of the year is going to do when given just a platter ball like that. She's going to score more often than not. Manitoba responds wonderfully. They trailed 5-4 just moments ago. They've now flipped that script, leading 8-6, and Coach Schmooland has taken her first time out of this second set to try and settle things down. And you did speak to her pre-game here, Amber, just about their preparation for this very important playoff match. And these teams, we did mention, did not play each other in the newly restructured conference season, as not every team will play all of the opponents. But just 2 years ago, these teams played each other 5 times, including regular season and playoffs. That involved Canada West Conference, the playoffs in the Canada West playoff season, and at U Sports Nationals. So these two teams are very familiar with one another's game. A lot of returning athletes for the Manitoba Bison side, not as many on the Mount Royal Cougars side, but the game planning, the preparation, and the sort of philosophies for these teams still remain the same. And it's great to see the chess game occur on the floor here as they continue to make adjustments.
Some nice touches, but it will be a kill on that tip for Megan Jones. You know, another piece of information we got pre-game was this matchup from a couple years ago where they played 5 times in the season. It was at Nationals where they just had a 5-set marathon where Manitoba played Mount Royal. And after that, Manitoba was gassed. We got this information from our sports information director, Mike Still, and the team, the girls, went to their strength and conditioning coach and said, how can we be better with our cardio? How can we make sure that we don't run out of gas at those important moments? So they invested a lot of time and a lot of energy just to getting to that next tier of physicality and being in tip-top shape like you need to be here in Canada West to really come out in those big moments, and it shows on the floor. Nice pass there from Almonte. Quick set to Uchechukwu, and she beats the block as that bobbles in front of the Cougars.
To your point there, Amber, just to pick up where that left off, Julia Arnold was interviewed by Mike Still for GoBisons.ca's report on tonight's match, and Julia mentioned that win against Mount Royal 2 seasons ago at U Sports Nationals, as Manitoba picks up an ace on the floor, was an integral piece of the puzzle for this Manitoba roster and the success they've had since. They won a bronze medal at those national championships. They followed that up with a Canada West championship the next season and another bronze at nationals. And these athletes have been just battle tested, and it was that moment that was identified by Julia Arnold that really turned the tides for them and their development and hunger to win.
Almonte in good position on that dig. Uchechukwu this time gets shut down by Emma Boyd as she puts a roof over the head of Light Uchechukwu.
Look at the reach of Emma Boyd here. She is way up over the net, penetrating and taking away that cross-court shot from Uchechukwu. Just a remarkable block there from Team Canada's next-gen identified athlete, Emma Boyd. She's back to serve once again, but that one finds the belly of the net. Much to the relief, I'm sure, of the Manitoba Bison serve receivers, as Emma Boyd had 4 aces in the first set alone.
That'll bring Manitoba's setter, Katrina Bentley, back to serve. And Katrina Bentley picks up a service ace of her own.
She's no stranger to that ace game, Amber, as she set a Canada West record this season earlier in the regular season with aces in a 3-set match against the Brandon Bobcats. I think she had a whopping 9 aces in that 3-set match.
Pass up by Jones, going all the way back to Morgan. Brought back into play by Surings. Free ball sent over by Manitoba. Morgan, another chance. Bit of a change up as she opts the tip, but I want to give some credit to Lexi Herod in that set earlier in this rally where she goes pin to pin. It's a very athletic set, and I like the option to go back to Maya Morgan for a chance at redemption, get her that kill. It's a good run.
You could tell from that celebration, Maya Morgan was pumped with that choice too.
Uchechukwu off the block. Teeing it up now for Scatcherd. The dig from Arnold out to Surings. Cross-court whip from Rhea Surings.
Such great balance and body control for the Canada West assists per set leader there, Katrina Bentley. Watch her just gently cut that ball off at the net without coming anywhere close to making contact. Just fantastic athleticism from number 12.
Service sub here for Manitoba. Number 11, Chloe Ellerbrock. She's going to serve for Eve Katoja. Pass up from Davidson. Flicking it back to Scatcherd. She'll power through the Bisons block for a kill.
Great side out there from the Cougars as this lead for Manitoba has grown to 4, but the Cougars, they continue to play well. A lot of good things happening on their side of the floor. It's just the transition game of Manitoba has been so solid. Need the Cougars to get back to that tough service pressure that we've seen in spurts here so far in this match to really put Manitoba on the run.
Bentley really having to run for that one. Free ball sent over to Mount Royal. Bison's working hard to corral it. They'll send over another free ball. Let's see what Mount Royal can do with this one. Back to Davies. Nira, she'll finish it off.
That's the pressure I was alluding to, Amber, in my comment just a couple seconds ago, is Manitoba with consecutive free balls sent over to the Cougars, and they make do on their second chance. And that is the kind of pressure they need to put on the Bisons. Keep them in a position where they cannot be as offensive as they're capable of and capitalize in transition.
It's a nice run from Manitoba to bounce back. It's a deep serve, but a nice pass by Uchechukwu. And a disciplined swing off the hand of Badowski. Uchechukwu now at the service line for U of M. Deep serve pass by Davidson. Back row attack from Scatcherd. She'll opt to just roll shot it, and Uchechukwu lays out for it, but it is whistled down.
That's a good change of pace there from the Cougars offense, as they've been pretty physical here in this second set, trying to get the Manitoba defense on their heels. And that's exactly where they catch Manitoba there.
Service error, however, from Maya Morgan. Hands a point back to Manitoba. Rhea Surings now at the line for the Bisons. Pass by Scatcherd is right into the hands of Badowski. But mishandled there as the dinner ball goes out the sideline.
That's one that Manitoba is going to want back, as very uncharacteristic of Brenna Badowski, one of the more efficient attackers in the Canada West Conference year in and year out.
Nice pass from Arnold outside Almonte. Good touches from Mount Royal out to Jones, recycled off the block. Jones cutting inside for another attempt, picked up by Arnold. Now Almonte with the cross-court shot. That was a sharp, sharp angle off the hand of Almonte.
Some serious skill on display there as Katrina Bentley drops to both knees and delivers a perfect ball just for Andy Almonte to shave it cross-court inside the attack line. That is some premier Canada West women's volleyball right there. And Manitoba's going to follow that up with a service ace off the hand of Brenna Badowski, and this Manitoba Bison bench is going to celebrate in a way that only they could. Everybody in white is excited tonight.
Badowski's serve sails deep.
Cougars continue to be stuck at this 4-point deficit just can't quite get over this hurdle. We'll see if Megan Jones can apply some service pressure and try and claw their way back a little closer to this Bison lead, and that's exactly what she's going to do, Amber. She's going to go back and skip that one off the platform of Uchechukwu. Usually it's the commentator curse that we're talking about, but that one works in Jones's favor.
Another tough serve from Jones, handled well by Uchechukwu. Surings of the C ball run. You could even hear the missed contact from Surings. That wasn't quite what she was looking for. Another tough serve from Jones, chased down by the Bisons. Free ball sent over. Let's see what Mount Royal can do with it. Back to Davies Nira, deep swing. Like you said earlier, they're really peeling back off the net on the back row attacks from Mount Royal, and that one, Davies Nira had the full go-ahead, but just a miss the court.
Yeah, both these teams, as we've said earlier in this broadcast, did not play the last week of the Canada West Conference season. They were both on a bye, which gave them an extended amount of time to game plan for one another, and clearly Coach Bentley is not threatened by the back row presence of the Cougars as his team continues to stay down and not give up any real estate or opportunity at the net to use the hands. But in that case, go to your front row option, and that's exactly what the Cougars do there with a big kill from Sydney Scatchard on the left side.
Boyd to serve, pass up from Arnold, out to Uchechukwu. The dig from Boyd up and over, another chance here. Uchechukwu on the attack, she'll get the one-on-one. Uchechukwu extending this Bison's lead.
This ball is just too fast to the pin. Watch the release of Bentley. Such a flat, driven set out there, and Maya Morgan, she's doing her best to try and get out there, but she's left 1.5 meters between her and the outside block of Lexi Herod. That's too much real estate given up to such a physical attacker like Light Uchechukwu.
Tipped over by Morgan. Back to Uchechukwu. Off the block, chased down. Free ball sent over by Mount Royal. Now it'll be Katojo. Nice pickup there by Davies Nira, Scatchard off the block. Another chance for the Cougars. Davies Nira, roll shot. Amante lays out for it, and it'll be a kill from Reyes Surings to finish off that extended rally. What a display of defense from both sides of the floor.
Our first mega rally of the night, Amber. We'll let you catch your breath after going pace for pace with that rally. Just a great finish there by Reyes Surings. Nothing much more to say. Kudos to all athletes. They are working hard out here, folks. It's playoff time.
Oh, just Scatchard scooped up by Arnold. Surings now. Picked up by Jones, and a redirect from Katojo. Still picked up by Mount Royal. Roll shot from Scatchard. That's honestly not what I expected her to do, but hey, all points count the same, and it's scored into the Bison's pot. Creative play from the Mount Royal captain.
Yeah, pretty fast, physical-looking approach there from Scatchard, and the deception pays off as that gentle touch into the pot catches all 4 surrounding Manitoba Bison defenders off guard. This lead just 3 for Manitoba now, and it's going to be Herod back to serve.
Pass up from Almonte. Outside, pretty tight net for Surings, and that'll take Bentley out of the equation. Uchechukwu cutting inside the block. Now Herod needs some help. Tipped over by Davies Nira. Surings another chance. She'll tip it. And another recovery from Mount Royal. What defensive grit we're seeing on display. Good slowdown by the Cougars block. Scatchard catches the antenna on the approach as everybody on the floor takes a moment to catch their breath for another mega rally.
Lexi Herod had a number of phenomenal digs in that extended rally for the Cougars side, and maybe that set just got away from her a little bit, but you can't blame her. Just has to be exhausted after so many opportunities that she had to hit the floor and then get up, track that ball, and distribute to your attackers. It's just great execution for the most part from her.
Good pickup from Bentley. Uchechukwu swinging deep. Herod with another dig. Scatchard. Almonte in perfect position. Surings now off the block, out of bounds. another kill for the Bisons.
We're seeing just phenomenal rallies. These last 6 or 7 points, Amber, have just taken the attackers several opportunities to try and put the point on the board. And Manitoba, they have just been that little bit more resilient and that little bit more successful in transition. They've now earned their 23rd point, and Mount Royal has to take their second and final timeout of this second set. Reminder, Manitoba does lead the match 1-0 so far, and it looks like they're well on their way with a heavy advantage so far to try and take a commanding 2-0 lead in this match. It has been a good one so far, and we said sort of pre-game, Amber, that the U Sports National Championships, they will be here in this barn March 14th to 16th, and we are very excited to host that event. The last time Investors Group Athletic Center here on the University of Manitoba campus hosted a large-scale volleyball event was the 2017 Canada Summer Games, where this venue, all 3,000 plus seats, were sold out to watch Team Manitoba's women's team take the gold medal there. I would expect a very comparable attendance for the Manitoba Bison matches and what should be all the matches that championship has to offer, as there is the best of the best in this country facing off here, chasing that banner just a few weekends away.
Also, Manitoba defended that gold at Canada Games in Niagara in 2022. Many of the participants on that squad are on the floor tonight for Manitoba, and a couple from Mount Royal as well.
Mount Royal responds out of that timeout with a quick side out with a gentle kill down the line by Bronwyn Davies-Neer. A great response from them coming out of that timeout. Pardon me, it appears that it was ruled out of bounds, perhaps outside the antenna. Definitely not the look that we had, but point's going to go Manitoba's way either way.
Davies-Neer tried the push chip into the Bison's block, but it did go off the block deep into the Mount Royal court. You can see the dig just out of reach, and that will propel the Bisons to take the second set 25-18. They're up 2-0 in this Canada West quarterfinals. We're going to be back with more playoff action. Keep with us on Canada West TV, presented by BioSteel.
Best to ever don the Bison's colors, Kathy Preston Nee Hererchuk is synonymous with head coach Ken Brantley's commonly used term of an everydayer. Preston left her mark as one of the best volleyball players of her generation, an elite blocker and attacker who earned 4 consecutive conference MVP awards and led the Herd to national championships in 2001 and 2002. Preston was a starter all 5 seasons at Manitoba and made an impact from the moment she stepped on the court, earning the Great Plains Athletic Association Rookie of the Year award in 1998. She went on to play in 4 national finals, winning 2 of them, and is the only 5-time national award winner in Bison's women's volleyball history. During her 5 seasons, she never had an attacking percentage lower than .418, with her best being .494 in 1999-2000. She also had over 200 digs twice in her career, finishing with 972 digs overall. Preston leaves a tremendous legacy as one of the most decorated Bison student athletes of all time. The 1977-85 Manitoba Bisons men's volleyball teams left their mark as one of the most dominant dynasties in Canadian university sports history. The team made it to the national final every season over the 8-year span, capturing 4 national championships as well as 8 straight Great Plains Athletic Conference titles. It all started with the 1977-78 squad, who posted an incredible 47-2 overall record on their way to the Bisons' first ever Canadian Inter-University Athletic Union title. The team would claim their next national title in 19...
Teams back on the floor, ready to get underway with set number 3. Manitoba took the first 2. Definitely not a runaway, but not super close. Let's see how Mount Royal will answer in the rest of this volleyball game. We do have the stats from those first 2 sets in front of us. What's the story on the page, Adam?
The side-out percentages are heavily tilted in Manitoba's favor as they continue to side out at about 64% efficiency, meaning that when they're given the opportunity in serve receive, they're making do about 64% of the time on average. Contrast that to just 51% of the time is Mount Royal able to come away and score a point for themselves on serve receive. That just has to be sharper, as most coaches will tell you they want that number hovering in that 75 to 80% range in best case scenario. So a little bit of work to do for the Cougars on serve receive, but when they're going to hold and play defense and earn points on defense like they have so far to start this set with an overbump kill there from Maya Morgan, they can maybe throw that stat out the window if they're going to continue to defend that way.
Now some good service pressure here from Sydney Scatchard. Pass up there from Almonte. Kutojo should put an end to that starting service run for Mount Royal.
A good slowdown at the net by Maya Morgan there. A little bit late, but you can't ask for much more out of a middle when it's a perfect pass and you've got 3 really difficult physical options in front of you. Any touch is a good touch at that point.
Kutojo now to serve. Just out of bounds. Did not miss my much. Oh, bring one of the Winnipeggers, Maya Morgan, back to serve for Mount Royal. And there'll be a service error. Uchechiku now back to serve. And a service ace off the hand of Uchechiku. We're all square at 3s.
Manitoba had 0 service aces through the first set, picked up 4 in the second set alone from 4 different servers. Uchechiku was not one of them. Now 5 Manitoba Bisons with an ace in this match. That's just great production across the board from the service line from the Bisons collective.
Nice swing from Bronwyn Davies Nira. Good set selection as well from Lexi Herod, going against the green.
That's a difficult set. Tight to the net as well, but she managed her body well. And as you said, Amber, that's against the green, going against the flow of traffic where that pass was over to the opposite side of the floor.
Pass from Arnold. Puts Bentley on the run, off-speed shot, scooped up nicely by Davidson. Jones recycles off the block. She'll get another chance. Pardon me. 4 contacts called on Mount Royal.
Yeah, it did look like on that cover by the Cougars, it did just sort of make a gentle contact at the front row of Emma Boyd as well. And that's just really good eyes by the head official to pick up that subtle contact. Definitely 4 touches for the Cougars. Stirrings
with a heavy-handed serve, but handled beautifully looks like there's some contention here in Investor Group Athletics Center. We're
going to have the best look at the house here. That did not touch Emma Boyd. She just dipped out of the way at the 11th hour. Good recognition from her. That point will stay, rightfully so, with the Mount Royal Cougars, but it's going to be followed up by a service error.
All squared up here early in set 3. Brenna Podolsky to serve now for U of M. Pass up from Davidson. All the way out to Scatchard. She has a lot of hang time.
She does, Amber, and again, a very long, tall athlete with a great reach. And that set, whether intentional or not by Lexi Herod, was well inside, and that Manitoba block just did not adjust accordingly. They left a ton of real estate for Scatchard to work cross court.
Tough serve of Boyd. Pass up nicely from Uchechukwu, and she follows it up with a dig back to Surinks now. That's a good dig that time from Jones, and just a misconnection between Herod and Morgan.
That's unfortunate in transition, like you said, Amber. Perfect dig from Megan Jones. That's right where you want it to be, and clearly a communication breakdown in transition between setter and middle. It's got to be sharper. Those are the opportunities that you need to take advantage of against a very clean and efficient Manitoba Bisons team.
Pass goes up and over. Back to Surinks for the C-ball run. Beautiful swing from Rhea Surinks.
We have seen her development in front of our eyes the last 3 seasons, Amber, as she continues to develop out of this back row C-ball option, and that swing right there is such a crisp offensive attack option for the Bisons and just makes them so much more difficult to handle.
Nice run from Maya Morgan. She goes off the hands of the block and out of bounds. Bisons get 3 solid blockers up. Herod now back to serve. A service ace to follow it up. Cougars a slight lead here in set 3. Pass up from Arnold outside Uchechukwu. Nice slow down by the Cougars block. In the middle, Morgan tipping deep.
That's the better adjustment for them in transition, Amber, as we saw just a few points ago. Miscommunication in the middle, but this run is clearly where they want and were trying to go last time around, and it's so efficient for Morgan to get up and be an option in an extended rally to that quick attack in the middle.
Herod could not have been in better position on that dig. Back now to Surinks. Herod, another dig. Scatchard opting to go on 2. Bit of an assist from the net. Out to Uchechukwu, and a massive block by Mount Royal.
And so much passion and emotion built by a play like that. Maya Morgan just reaching into the seam and shutting down one of the top Manitoba attack options. Great work by the Cougars here, as this is maybe one of their biggest leads of the night so far, as they now lead 10-7 in this 3rd set, and so much so that Coach Bentley is going to elect to take his first time out of this 3rd set. And this Manitoba Bison team, they had a fantastic regular season, really cruising to a 3rd place finish in the conference. Not typically a team that's used to playing from behind, as they cruise to a lot of matches, but this is going to be a role that they have yet to play in tonight, is playing from behind. I'll be interested to see how they respond coming out of this timeout as a group, as your mindset and your approach naturally has to change when you're trailing, Amber. You can't be as aggressive, you can't take as many risks necessarily, as any sort of risk or mistake can really compound and see that lead grow even bigger for the opponent. So I'm curious, we'll see how they respond coming out of this timeout. It's going to be a pretty aggressive float server in Lexi Herod back at the line to serve, try to keep her foot on the gas for her Cougars.
Pass up from Almonte, quick set out to Uchechukwu, down the line, slightly over-rotated though as it is out of bounds on the near sideline. Change up here from Coach Bentley. Number 10, Chelsea Sabenga on the floor for number 13, Andy Almonte. Herod's serve floats long. Bisons get bailed out. Bentley to serve. Pass up from Jones, looking in the middle to Morgan, and that just gets caught in the hands of Eve Katojo. Nice run, though, between Herod and Morgan.
Maya Morgan has about 4 or 5 points on the board for the Cougars alone in this set. A couple kills, and most notably that big block right before that Manitoba timeout was needed to be taken. She's having a fantastic third set so far for her Cougars.
Pass up by Arnold, back to Uchechukwu. Uchechukwu just beating the Mount Royal block as she's up early. Look at this. She's swinging before their feet are even hitting the floor. Or lifting off the floor, pardon me. Service sub now in for Manitoba, number 11, Chloe Ellerbrock. She'll check in for Eve Katojo. Pass up from Davidson. Flicking it back to Davies Nira, tipped over. Definitely taking advantage of the sub on the floor, tipping behind the block where Ellerbrock is in playing defense.
That's such a heads-up play, Amber. It's usually such an efficient choice as when the middle is in there playing defense in position 5 compared to the libero. You've always got a little bit more time to work with, and when in doubt, just tip it out.
Surings cutting in, going off 1 foot to bring it back to the corner.
Nice shot by Surings, just sort of chopping this high down the line in what we would consider more of a seam in the defense, but Sydney Scatchard, she's going to want that one back, and she knew it right away that that's certainly a diggable ball for the Mount Royal Cougars.
Chechukwu serve, pass up by Scatchard. Going outside, Jones, one-handed dig from Arnold. Sabenga dug up by Davidson. Jones with another chance and a big block. That was all Brenna Badowski. The Bisons have not had much production with their blocks so far, but yeah, they've only had one. Between the first 2 sets, that's their second of the night. That's not typical of this Bison squad, so they'll be excited about that one. Uchechukwu serve is passed up by Scatchard. Going back to Davies Nira, and another block for Manitoba. Badowski and Sabenga this time.
More of Manitoba's depth on display as Chelsea Sabenga is on the floor in relief of Andy Almonte for the time being, and Sabenga brings about 5 inches of additional height compared to Almonte, and she puts that all to use to shut down what has been a very efficient night for Davies Nira.
Nice pass by Scatchard. Davies Nira, another chance of redemption, swinging deep that time. Sabenga on the attack, recycled off the block. Trying to connect in the middle to Badowski, but Bentley and Badowski just don't click.
Yeah, that one's on the hands of Katrina Bentley there, as she knew right away, put her hands on her knees and just knew that that one got away from her and did not put her hitter in an attackable location with that set. Manitoba, good run there though, trimming this Cougars lead to just 2 now.
Surings on the attack. She'll go off the block, out of bounds. very efficient night for Rhea Surings. That's kill number 15.
It's a remarkable total, Amber. That's already an average of 5 per set, and we're only midway through this third set. Just a remarkable, reliable option for Manitoba's offense at all times.
Big serve to follow it up. Passed up by Davidson. Back row attack from Davies Nira. She had no block in sight, and this is the respect that the Bisons have been giving to Davies Nira on the attack out of the back row. They're peeling off, they're opting to dig, but she can still score that way.
Definitely, and that sort of change of pace, sort of an unorthodox part of the court, very shallow due to there being no block. That just catches this Manitoba roster by surprise. Good heads-up swing, not doing too much there was Davies Nira.
Set very tight to the net. Not a playable option for Mount Royal. Point, Manitoba Bisons.
That's the risk you can take, though, if you're the Cougars. With playing with a lead, you want to try and keep the pressure on Manitoba and be a little bit more aggressive with those broken play sets. I don't necessarily dislike that try from Megan Jones to try and put Sydney Scatcherd in a hittable location in that broken play. And just like that, Manitoba makes a mistake, and that lead goes back to 2 for Mount Royal.
And a dangerous server at the line for the Cougars, and Emma Boyd. She has 4 aces alone tonight. Another tough serve. Passed up decently well by Sabenga. She'll get a chance to swing. Good dig by Jones. Scatcherd now. Nice slow down by the Bison's block. Surings cutting cross court. Another nice dig, this time from Davies Nira. Tip deep. Now it'll be Katojo, slowed down by the Mount Royal block. Back to Maya Morgan. And another mega rally. This time Mount Royal comes out on top.
I love the versatility and diversity in the middle options for Mount Royal. We have seen Maya Morgan attack in that 30 lane. We've seen her attack in that 50 lane. We are now seeing her in transition get all the way around for that step, and she is now tied for the kill lead for her Cougars, and that's just a remarkable production for a middle attacker. And here she goes again with another step around attempt, this time dug by Arnold.
Back to Suring. She'll opt to tip on the C-ball run. And this is just a mirror image of the tip from Davies Nira we saw a couple rallies ago. Surings is well aware that there is a middle playing defense in position 5. So what was the phrase you said, Adam? When in doubt, tip it out.
Gets the job done.
Almonte now back to serve. And a service error off the hand of Andy Almonte. Lexi Harrod now at the service line. Nicely passed by Arnold. And a quick middle run to Katojo. I like that option for Manitoba.
Oh, took the words out of my mouth, Amber. We don't typically see the Manitoba middles run that 30 lane. They're pretty heavily stuck in that 51 right next to the setter, but that additional 2 steps outside that setter lane is just so effective, and we see that Mount Royal block just not expecting that lane, but a perfect response from the Cougars. It's once again Davies Nira, this time on the left side, squeaking that ball down the front of this Manitoba block.
Yeah, Katojo just a little bit too far off the net on her press. And a little bit of frustration after that point. She knew she was leaving a little bit too much error. And a service error from Scatcherd. Now Katojo back at the service line. Pass up by Davidson, back to Davies Nira. And slow down by the Bison block. Surings tipping, Herod lays out for it. Jones, good coverage by Bentley. Uchechukwu. This rotation for Uchechukwu and this option where she can just cut way inside the block. She scored on that basically every time she's had the opportunity.
Yeah, her arm swing is just such a natural internal rotator, meaning that right hand, that thumb comes up and she can just drive that ball across her body so powerfully. Just textbook mechanics from her.
And a rare error from Maya Morgan as that won't clear the net.
And all of a sudden, this lead has disappeared for the Mount Royal Cougars, 19 all, and that's going to result in a timeout from head coach Rhonda Smoolin. As I mentioned, that lead has just evaporated for the Cougar side, and it's going to be a race to 25 at a crucial point in this weekend series. We have said it once or twice tonight, but this is just game one of a best-of-3 quarterfinal series. The winner will move on of the 3-match series, will move on to the Canada West semifinals, and Manitoba, the Bisons, are the hosts of the U Sports National Championships, which means they are guaranteed a berth to that national championships as a host. We can see some of the other top teams in this conference. Fraser Valley, they have earned the right to host if they continue to move on in their quarterfinal matchup this weekend. Alberta also in the mix, UBC in fourth, and there's just a variety of very talented teams in this final 8 quarterfinals matchups.
So the way this works for Canada West playoffs, it is the remaining top seed that hosts the semifinals and finals for Canada West, the final 4, if you will. So could be Fraser Valley, could be UBC, could be Manitoba, but a lot of things need to shake out with this quarterfinal, with the quarterfinal matchups across Canada West before we'll know who exactly gets the opportunity to host that final 4 in the Canada West Championship. Big swing on the left side. Megan Jones blowing up the platform of Eve Katojo.
Great response out of the timeout from Mount Royal, as they had a pretty comfortable lead the bulk of this set, but it's sort of evaporated now. They respond to the timeout, and it's a substitute with the ball in her hand. It's her Faith Obasi with a good float serve.
A massive swing by Light Uchechukwu. She's having a night.
There's that cross-body attack once again, Amber. Watch her just drag this ball down. Her hand finishes in her left pocket. Just such a powerful attack from number 9. She's back to the line to serve now. 20 apiece. It's a race to 5 now here at Investors Group Athletic Center.
Nice pass by Scatcherd. Back to Davies Nira. Deep and out of bounds on the attack.
It's a good swing from Davies Nira. She's just hoping to find a piece of that Manitoba block. Just a tiny bit long, and you know, Andy Almonte, she's checked back onto the floor in place of Chelsea Sabanga. That probably would have had a piece of her fingertips, but not Almonte.
Pass up by Jones, looking in the middle to Boyd. You know, Boyd has been very productive from the service line, but in terms of middle volume, we've seen a lot more go the way of Maya Morgan, but I really like this option of Herod getting Boyd involved in the offense in the front row.
Definitely, and the vision was on display there as Manitoba Block-Abadowski jumping into position 5, but Boyd saw it, cutting it back to position 1 beautifully.
Nice pickup by Davies Nira. Outside, tipped over by Jones. Now it'll be Surinks. She'll pick up the kill on that right side run. Bisons with a narrow lead here now.
This is just what she does, Amber. When you are in a pinch and you need a point, figure out where Rhea Surinks is on the floor and get the ball over there, because she is just so reliable from the offensive side of things.
She'll now serve for the Bisons. Pass up by Scatcherd. Back to Boyd, but a knuckleball out the side. Yeah, back to Rhea Surings for a second. She gets a lot of volume, which she should get a lot of volume. She's a good volleyball player. But her kill to error ratio is phenomenal. She has 17 kills and just 4 errors.
You can't express how important that is, Amber, when you can go to an option and be reliable. And, you know, she's had 33 attempts, so 17 kills on 33 attempts. That's a lot. It's far from perfect, but when you can minimize the mistakes and minimize the free points for the opposition, that is when it is just so important to try and get her the volleyball, because she may not score for you, but it's likely that she's at the very least going to put the other team in trouble and put some adversity and get them out of their flow of offense. And that's really such an unwritten part of the stat sheet is her consistency from the attack side of things. And there's a reason she has picked up 2 major awards in the youth sports volleyball league in just her 2 seasons. She's going to start us back up here after the timeout from the service line.
That trickles over, picked up by Scatchard. Outside to Jones. Nice slow down by the Bisons block. Surings, the C-ball run. Ball up, over, and out. Like you said, Adam, when there's trouble, call upon Rhea Surings.
She's in playoff form, Amber, and last year she was a little injured kind of to the tail end of the season, had a bit of an ankle injury, and it's just so exciting and so hopeful that she stays that way to watch her at full capacity as this playoff season continues. And the first match point opportunity for Manitoba is a missed serve from Rhea Surings. That one finds the middle of the net, but they're going to have 2 more opportunities to try and seal the deal in 3 sets. But it's going to be Megan Jones with the ball in her hand to do everything in her power to try and extend this set and this match.
Pass up by Uchechukwu outside. Andy Almonte closes out things for the Manitoba Bisons, and they will take match 1 of this 3-game quarterfinal series for the Canada West Championship, Canada West playoffs. What an exciting match, though.
There's a reason that this match was selected as the game of the night, selected to be put on CBC, as these 2 teams, they've got history, they've got skill, and more than anything that we saw tonight, they have power. And it was so exciting, such a very, very high octane match between these 2 opponents. Manitoba, as you said, Amber, does seal the deal in 3 as we see the set scores there. They will be back tomorrow night at Investors Group Athletics Center for game number 2 of a best-of-3 series. You won't want to miss that one, as these teams, I'm sure, will go back to the drawing board, do a little bit more game planning tomorrow.
Thank you so much for joining us on Canada West TV. Those of you who joined in from CBC, it's been a pleasure to call tonight's match. Once again, Canada West TV, presented by BioSteel. Have a good rest of your Thursday night.